working life, American-born Jane Dudley has been involved in contemporary dance, both as dancer and as teacher. For nearly 20 years now, she's worked at The Place, the home of the London Contemporary Dance School, and she's had an enormous influence on the many young dancers who've passed through her hands. Dancing for her is not just technique. Movements should come from inside the dancers themselves, from an acute awareness of their own bodies, what they feel and what they can do.
The most important thing is to give a dance student the tasks of their own body. One gives them input, and then they have to be their own teacher, and they have to be using what they've been given to develop and train themselves. And when that kind of interactivity happens, I feel a class is on the right track. It's the weight moving into the center of center of gravity, and then letting that carry you as it goes beyond your feet into, and now go, into the movement into place.
Unlike classical ballet, where dancers often seem to defy the laws of gravity in their jumps and leaps, contemporary dancers use the floor. They use the weight of their bodies. They're aware of the force of gravity.
All right, now let's try it with the three of you. Now do it at in your own feeling. Don't try to keep with each other. All right, go. Keep the knees very soft and flexible so that they respond to your walk. All right, now let it take you into space.
As well as learning to control the weight of the body, be aware of its center of gravity, they must also learn somehow to be open to things and take risks.
Weave your body forward and back. That's it. There's a combination of letting your body be vulnerable and open, and at the same time responding in a sensitive way. It requires a lot of listening to one's own movement and body experience. And I think it's very beautiful because it has that combination of grace and something that's bigger than the individual. You have to really let your weight carry you. You can't be cautious. On the other hand, you can't fumble and stumble. You have to be just ahead of your feet. It's nice when you go individually and not together, so that first one takes it, then the other. That has a nice feel to it. See, you have to watch, you have to have a third eye. No one ever dances without being aware of your space and the people around you. You're never alone on a stage with other people. My mother had always wanted to be a dancer, and since that wasn't done, her mother never would have approved of it. I think I really inherited her ambitions. And then I was a very skinny and high-strung child, and they used to call me Janie Wiggle. And my mother felt that dance would straighten me out in a way, and that I could use all this energy that I was wiggling around with into something much more harmonious and more coordinated.
So she took dance classes. First with her mother's friend Ruth Dewing, then with three very important figures in American dance, Hanya Holm, Doris Humphrey, and the great Martha Graham, also studying with them at the dance summer schools at Bennington and at New London. But it was Graham who inspired her most.
I remember being so swept off my feet by the first classes I had with her that I hardly could sleep at night. I used to stay on top of the mattress. And I remember asking if I could take an extra practice class, and she coming to find me in the room I had in the dormitory in the houses and saying that she thought that would be fine. I felt very flattered, first of all, that she sought me out, and secondly, that I could take the extra class. And of course, I worked my head off, but I didn't feel I had to. It was just that I was absolutely, there was something about the quality of the movement and her magic as a teacher, because she was, when she wanted to teach, she was a teacher that I don't think I've ever met anyone as fine. Martha had a way of talking about a movement so that it integrated the movement for you, and you didn't think about, oh, my shoulders must do this, my arms must do that, my legs must do that. Because she was able to hit the right image, your body instinctively fell into the right guise. And of course, I think that is a secret to a certain kind of teaching, if you can find that. That isn't always very easy to do. But when one does find it, working with students, it does do something very special, because the inside of the student also becomes involved, and that's when you have a total dancer, and that's what you're always working for, if you can get it. 3, 2, 3, 4.
The exercise is to stretch, transfer the body weight, overbalance, and so move on to the next step in the sequence.
All right, now the last group, it still has to be stretched more and dropped more. It's you're two on the surface. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now let go into the knee, that's it. Keep the head back.
The students come from all over Britain, some from overseas. Paul Liebert from Leeds is the boy at the back on the left, you may well have seen representing the United Kingdom in the last Eurovision Young Dancer competition.
All right, now we'll take the same principle of overbalancing and see if you can do it on a long tilt onto one leg and catch your weight as you step across. All right, and then we'll try it from that side, taking it into a turn. All right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now you have to open it up very much in your body. Stretch each time. That's it. And then let go of it. Let your weight let go of it. Let your head go way back, Cheryl. Chest open. Stretch from hand to hand. And then let Lucky, watch your shoulders. Keep them down. Turn. Try to arch as you come around. That's good. Don't lift your shoulders. Keep it, and arch as you come around. That's better, Ellen.
So at this stage in the class, what does Jane Dudley expect from her students?
First, I'm looking for the ability to respond to this force that's greater than you are, the force of gravity, and yet to give it a pleasingness in the way you move to it. And so all the structures of all the phrases that we're going to do are built on that principle. And when a person resists it and is stiff and not yielding, you can see it very, very clearly. Now let yourself fall very quietly into the arms of the person behind you, so your weight gives to the person behind you. It's a combination of reaching out of weight and letting into weight. Start very gently, because the person isn't ready to take your weight if you go too suddenly. You have to ease into it, so you let your breath out. Let your legs be easy. Let your legs be easy. Don't. All right, good. Let your weight sink. You mustn't throw yourself into a person, otherwise he cannot catch you. You have to try to go down into the floor, the person who's carrying it. You don't stay up on top. That's nice.
So they learn here to control weight. The next stage is to learn to control and be aware of their inner energy, the speed or the slowness, the strength or the gentleness of how they move.
The problem of dynamics, which has to do basically with energy and force. It's very much in the dancer's area. It has to do with acceleration and retarding. It has to do with accents and contrasts, lightness and darkness, and strength, strongness and weakness. And the first thing I want to do with you is to see if you can feel getting from slow to fast. And I'd like to do it first with Jeanette, and then we'll do it with everybody. So, supposing you just sit in a big circle around the room, and let's see if Jeanette can do it first alone. We'll do it without the piano. And the hard thing to feel is the going from slow to fast. Usually what happens is it goes slow, and then it jumps a notch and goes fast. It's that gray period which you have to really feel, and you won't feel it unless it comes out of some kind of increasing motor in your own body, in your own insides, in your own energies. All right? Let's try it, Jeanette. See, it's this moment, this period that is hard to bring off. That was good. Your breath even has to get quicker. You can't do that and be a cool, empty inside dancer. You have to really fuel your motor all the time, you know, rev it up. And the other one is contrast. Very powerful, strong, emphatic movement, dropping it quietly, and then again, speeding it up and exploding again into very strong, rhythmic, accented movement. So all of those are, I think, a very important part of dance. Now, musicians, at least the old-timers like Schumann and Wagner and Schubert and so forth, those were elements that they worked with. It's not so much part of our dance scene now, but I think, again, it's a valuable experience, and it should be, because I remember Doris Humphrey sitting on the stairs at New London, which inherited Bennington, New London, Connecticut, saying, well, I guess I'm old-fashioned because I like to see dances build to a climax and not just go along. You don't have to do it like everybody else, but you have to do it from your own growing excitement. That's really what it amounts to. And you also have to be very, very aware of each other. Be sure you run fast enough. All right, now everyone hold still. Now everybody go at one time. Go. Let it build. More. Faster. 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 Now as fast as you can get. And stop. And go. 1. Start slowly enough. And now don't let it get small as you get faster. Try to keep the steps just as big. Keep reaching out, even though it's fast, reach. Now build it inside, build it more. I'd like to do that again because I'm going to tell you, at the end, this was beautiful, but this, you really don't keep the motor revving. It becomes static, inside static. Let's do it once again. The rest of it was good. Go. Now, even this has to grow inside you. See, the reason it gets faster is something is getting faster in your own excitement. Now, spin it and fall. Now, here's where it's tricky. Start down enough. Now, build your breath, build it more. Keep it, when you finished, up off the floor. Don't let it rest. That was better. All right, now let's take another one. Coming across the floor, showing the contrast between very strong movement, very easy going movement, and then that building into an explosion. Go. One. In your plie. Build it. This is the tricky place. Really let it go. Go. Now let it light, soft. Now, hurry it, build it up.